Yeah, Gary's knee's structurally sound and the bone's fine, so he's just got deep bruising from a knock. But he's not ruled out at the moment, so we'll see how he goes during the week. Jared's got a very slight strain of his calf, but we've had players play before with similar strains, so he's not ruled out either. So we'll just see how the week progresses. Obviously on a Monday, it's a little bit early for us to give definitive answers, but we'll see how the week goes, and especially see how they go Wednesday. Then we might have to wait until see how they pull up on Thursday.
How do you manage the players this week, whereas you're going up against a team who's playing one less game than you?
Just as we normally manage going into a 6-day break. So it's our players do what they normally do today, then they'll train again on Wednesday. So we encounter those breaks quite often during the course of the year, and it's not so much we can't control what Geelong are able to do or what their break's been, but we can control obviously what we do, and we'll be getting that right this week.
John, is your gut feeling Gary and Jared will be right?
We don't know yet. It's just a bit early to be able to make that call. We don't want to rule anyone in or out. Just at the present time, we'll give them every opportunity. We had a number of players train here on Sunday, including Kurt. So Zach Jones trained. They all trained here on Sunday. So at the moment, we'll just have to wait and see how Wednesday progresses.
Is there a good chance of playing this week?
Well, he did summer training last week. Did part of our final session last week and trained fully here on Sunday. So and he will do obviously more training on Wednesday and see how he feels. But once again, we'll just see how that goes on Wednesday.
Will that decision come down to how he feels? You can't really do a fitness test with that sort of injury.
Oh no, he'll just he was able to play the game out obviously against GWS. He was able to train really well here on Sunday, and that will come down to a discussion between coaching staff, medical staff and Kurt on Wednesday, and see how he pulls up and see how he feels.
Zach's been cleared, got through all his concussion stuff?
Yeah, he ran the end of last week and pulled up fine from that. He trained really well here on Sunday, so he feels really good. So he's looking pretty good at the moment.
So better news than what you probably went to bed Saturday night.
Yeah. Obviously Saturday night you're not quite sure about how things are going to pan out during the course of the next couple of days, but that's why it's important not to jump to too many conclusions too early, and it's very important to wait before all the facts are assembled and make the decisions then. And at the moment we haven't got all the facts because we haven't trained this week just yet, so we'll have to wait and see, but it's looking a little bit more positive than what it could have been certainly on Saturday night.
Have you entertained the fact that it could be an all-Sydney grand final?
No, I haven't.
Just on the three of them, like you obviously have a pretty good idea after training on Wednesday, but could be a case where you don't, wait until Friday night and just before the game to make a last-minute call.
We really don't know. I mean, every individual case is different. I mean, we've done that before, but it depends on the player, it depends upon the injury, and at the moment, being Monday, we don't have all that information ahead of us, so in front of us. So we'll make that call later on the week, but we'll certainly get more of an idea following Wednesday, but we may have to wait until Thursday and see how players pull up from training, and we'll make that decision then.
Wednesday, your final run, you won't have a light run in Melbourne or anything?
Oh, we normally have a kick down there, but it's not a major run. It's just normally a bit of a kick and a catch after we land, so it won't be a big training session, but we'll sit back and make those calls later on the week.
Callum Mills, I guess, is the other one.
Yeah.
Chance.
Look, he's not ruled out at the moment. None of the players are ruled out. Doesn't mean that they're all going to play or some won't play, but it just means that at the moment none of them are ruled out. So that's a good sign, and we want to give them every opportunity that we can. And obviously we'll get some more information later on in the week, but we'll be making sure we make a measured decision later in the week.
These injuries are a bit worrying. I mean, it's going to be a tough task there, Geelong.
Oh, Geelong are a tough team. I mean, they've won a heap of games in a row now. They're in absolute red hot form. They're playing good football, and they're always going to be a tough task. But we know that if we make really the decision to play with that sort of ferocity that we played with on Saturday night, that it gives us every possible chance, and that's what we're aiming to do, and that's what our challenge is to do. At this time of the year, you need to play with that ferocity. There's no room for error. You need to be fierce at the ball and fierce at the man with the ball to be able to give yourself a chance.
John, you haven't entertained the idea of an all-Sydney final, grand final, but what would it mean for this city to have the two teams in the big one?
To be honest, I'm not looking past Geelong, and our players are fully focused on that. We've got a 6-day turnaround, Friday night final at the MCG against the Cats, and that's something to be really looking forward to, and that's all we've got our mind on.
Were you surprised about the Hawthorn result?
What with?
That they look like that it's come to an end, the dream run.
I've got enough to focus on this week with us. So.
Did you feel some real momentum came out of that win for you guys on Saturday?
Oh, look, we know that can change really quickly during the course of a game and from week to week. I mean, we saw it the week before, and that we didn't play with that intensity around the ball and around the contest, and that real ferocity that we pride ourselves on. We were just lacking in that area, and we were able to bring it, and we're consistent at it during Saturday night's game, and we'll need to be really good at it this week. So that's just a challenge. I mean, once again, if we drop off from that, we leave ourselves open to a Geelong team who's fierce around the ball, got a terrific midfield, and a very even side. So we need to be consistent at that this week.
And just on Gary, regardless of whether he plays this week, I mean, I suppose it's good news for a guy who's had his history of leg injuries and the way he was stretched off the field.
Yeah, it was. It's obviously a concern for him and his family after being through what he's been through a few years ago, and in that particular leg as well. So you can understand his apprehension, but it was great news when he was able to get the results back of the scan that the bone itself was in good nick. So that's a good sign.
How much time do you put into plans A, B and C for Paddy Dangerfield, and is there any risk of being too sort of Dangerfield-centric?
Look, if you look at Dangerfield and you try and control him, then Selwood bobs up, and then someone else might bob up. But we'll prepare as we normally do, and we'll put enormous amount of attention into the opposition team, all of their players, and obviously Dangerfield's a really important one. But so is Selwood, so is Hawkins, so is their defence. We'll look at all their strengths and make sure, importantly, that we bring our strengths. That's a real key, and that's what our midfield group need to do, particularly against their midfield group.